Welcome to the 6th episode of this series. Make sure that you watch the earlier episodes of this playlist to understand the context and the flow of events in the Islamic Caliphate following the death of Muhammad. The link to the playlist will be posted in the description box and also on the info card at the top right-hand corner of this video. The law of nature is quite clear. You reap what you sow. If you sow potatoes, you will not reap tomatoes. There is this story about David, the king of Israel, where he had an affair with Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah. As a result, David deceptively killed Uriah to take Bathsheba as his wife. When he had killed him, the prophet Nathan came to him and pronounced the judgment of God, wherein it was ordained that the sword shall not depart from the house of David. The good thing about David is that he repented of his sins and never justified his actions. Therefore, God had mercy on him and helped him in the time of his trial. The attitude of David is quite contrary to the Prophet of Islam, who claimed to be killing his personal enemies and those that oppose him, citing the commandment of Allah to do so. Look at this graveyard where dead people are buried. Every dead person has a story to tell. I am listing out groups of people who were killed by Muhammad according to their own scriptures. Muhammad and Sahabas has shed so much blood of innocence that they cannot escape the eventuality of the sword staying in their house. Right from the 7th century till the 21st century, we see this trail of blood following Islam wherever it goes. We have discussed how Muhammad was killed by his own lieutenants Abu Bakr and Umar with the help of his own wives Aisha and Hafsa. The Prophet of Islam was murdered by Mu'mins, who followed him. We discussed about the details of his murder in Episode 1. In Episode 2, we discussed how he was silenced before his death and the controversy regarding his burial and appointment of the next caliph in violation to his will. In Episode 3, we discussed how Abu Bakr had an uneventful caliphate of just 2 years, followed by the intimidating rule of Umar for 10 years. We also discussed how Umar was killed by a Muslim by name Abu Lu'lu'ah. Many Muslims will say that Abu Lu'lu'ah was a Zoroastrian or a Christian. However, that is not true, as the murder happened in Medina, where non-Muslims are not allowed even from those earlier days. Abu Lu'lu'ah was working in Medina as a stonemason. Then in Episode 4, we discussed about the corrupt regime of Uthman, where he placed his relatives in positions of power and used the influence to siphon off the money for personal and inappropriate tasks. He too was killed by Muslims led by Muhammad bin Abu Bakr. In Episode 5 we understood that the conspiracy to kill Uthman was hatched by Ali, Talha, Zubair and Aisha. He was insulted even in his burial, where his dead body was scorned and stoned at. It is important that we remember why the governors would not help Uthman even after his repeated plea. Do you remember that I mentioned they would not help Uthman so that they can lay claim to the caliphate after his death? The vulture game is on. As expected, the moment Uthman died, Muawiyah and Ali laid their claim to the throne of Khalifa. Even Aisha jumped to the fray with her own group of soldiers. For some time, the confusion and controversy regarding the caliph continued. The balance tilted towards Ali when the rebels who killed Uthman under the leadership of Muhammad bin Abu Bakr pledged their allegiance to Ali. They were a total of 8,000 of them, and they had full control over Medina. These people started forcing others to pledge their allegiance to Ali. They also called up Talha and Zubair. They threatened Talha by putting a sword on his forehead, just like how it happens at gunpoint in our days. As Talha and Zubair was forced to pledge allegiance to Ali, others who resisted were also coerced to do so. Remember that Talha and Zubair formed the 10 most prominent Sahabas of Muhammad who were reserved a seat in paradise. Ali also knew that these two Sahabas were the ones that instigated people to rebel against Uthman. Therefore, he needed their allegiance to him confirmed. Finally, the Ansars and Muhajirins pledged allegiance to Ali, and he was enthroned as the Caliph in 656 AD. When Talha and Zubair understood that they have no chance of being a Khalifa, they started negotiating for the roles of governors of Kufa and Basra. Even those requests were rejected by Ali, saying that he needed their services in Medina itself. We read that they somehow went to Mecca on an excuse to perform tawaf, and then there they started recruiting people to rebel against Ali. While Uthman was killed, Aisha was in Mecca. So after the burial of Uthman on her way to Medina, she was informed that Talha has been appointed as the new caliph. This made her happy, as she never wanted Ali to be the caliph. There is an old enmity between Ali and Aisha, where Ali accused Aisha of infidelity to Muhammad. The cause for that can be discussed later on. As of now, we need to know that Aisha was totally against the appointment of Ali as the caliph. While on her journey, as she was nearing Medina, she was informed that Ali has been appointed as the new caliph. Therefore, she returned back to Mecca in anger. It was not only a U-turn towards Mecca, it was even a U-turn in her attitude and strategy. All of a sudden Uthman became a good person for her. She started to complain that Uthman was killed unjustly. It was this same Aisha who used to instigate the rebels to murder Uthman, as she considered him as a kafir. She hated Ali more than Uthman. After she reached Mecca, she started instigating the Meccans to rebel against Ali. She was successful in gathering a huge contingent of army. As Aisha wanted to take her revenge on Ali, she ganged up with Talha and Zubair. As a result, all three, along with their armed contingent, moved to Basra. Their so-called official reason to go and fight against Ali was to take revenge of the blood of Uthman, but the real reason was totally different. In reality, the rebels included the groups owing allegiance to Aisha, Muawiyah, and Ali. But now, Aisha is bringing up this new excuse for a war against Ali. On her way to Basra, Aisha met Ibn Abbas and started scouting for his support. She told him that if Talha becomes the Khalifa, he will follow the path of his paternal uncle Abu Bakr. Aisha also invited the other wives of the Prophet to join her war, but they declined the invite. When Ali got the information that Talha and Zubair has teamed up with Aisha and has conquered Basra, he too led his army from Medina to Basra for war. At that time, Ali gave this sermon, which we can read in Nahjul Balagha sermon number 147. And it was in Basra that Jang-e-Jamal happened, which means the Battle of Camels. As Aisha was riding a camel in the battle, the name was derived from that. The army of Ali had 20,000 soldiers, whereas Aisha had 30,000 soldiers. As a result of this battle, more than 20,000 soldiers are killed, with Ali winning the battle. Talha knew that he was being defeated, therefore, he gave the order for retreat. At that point in time, Marwan shot an arrow at Talha, which pierced his leg. That time Marwan said to the son of Uthman that he has killed one assassin of his father. As a result of this injury, Talha asked his slave to take him to the city where he was lodged in a house. However, he died there as a result of incessant bleeding caused by the arrow. When both the armies faced each other, Ali reminded Zubair of a saying by the Prophet of Islam that there would be a time when Zubair will fight against Ali. After hearing that, Zubair promised Ali that he would not fight against him and went and told Aisha that he is withdrawing from the battle. This U-turn by Zubair caused his son Abdullah bin Zubair to question his father's resolve and blamed him for having caused the entire war. Hearing the taunt of his son, Zubair got into a confusion. As advised by his son, he broke his promise and released a slave as compensation for breaking the promise before rejoining the battle against Ali. Zubair was killed in the battle, and Aisha was captured in an injured state. Her camel was also killed. She was later sent to her brother Muhammad bin Abu Bakr's custody. Aisha was heard saying that it was better for her to be martyred in the battle rather than the disgrace she is undergoing. This victory in the civil war gave Ali much-needed confidence, and as a result, he shifted the capital of his caliphate to Kufa. He also appointed Muhammad bin Abu Bakr as the governor of Egypt. In the meanwhile, there was trouble brewing in Syria for Ali. Uthman had a bigger following in Syria. They were upset at the killing of Uthman, and Muawiyah used to speak about his closeness with Uthman to make it look as if he was one among them. But the true aim of Muawiyah was to instigate a rebellion against Ali. To take advantage of the Syrian emotions, Muawiyah brought in and displayed the blood-soaked dress of Uthman which he wore while he was being murdered. He also brought in the finger of Naila, the wife of Uthman, which got cut in the process of saving Uthman. He hung the finger and the dress in the minbar, so that the people of Syria feel the pain of Uthman's unjust killing. This event caused a big uproar in Syria. The Syrians started wailing and promised themselves that they will not go into their wives till they take revenge for the killing of Uthman. The plan of Muawiyah succeeded. At the same time, Ali was removing all the earlier governors appointed by Uthman and replacing with the new office-bearers in their place. Except for Muawiyah, the rest of the older governors vacated their posts. Muawiyah's reason for not leaving his post was that he will not move out till he is able to take revenge on them who killed Uthman. Ali replied to Muawiyah asking him, "Isn't he the same guy who refused to respond to Uthman when he asked for help?" Ali knew that Muawiyah is wanting to kill Muhammad bin Abu Bakr, his stepson. Even though Muslims tells us that the Sharia law demands death as a penalty for killing others, that law is applicable only for the ordinary citizen. It does not work when done by people in high offices, the same way Ubaydullah bin Umar was left unpunished for killing innocents following the death of Umar. As a result of the controversy, Muawiyah did not give his allegiance to Ali as the Khalifa, rather he started provoking Ali for a battle. Therefore, Ali started with his troops to battle with the Syrians under Muawiyah. The armies of both the groups clashed in a place called Siffin in 658 AD. This battle was one of the biggest in early Islamic history. There were almost 80,000 soldiers in Ali's army, whereas the army of Muawiyah had 120,000 men. It is reported that over 70,000 people lost their lives in this battle. As the war proceeded, when it seemed that the army of Muawiyah was retreating, he put up the Quran on an exposed javelin requesting for negotiation. Seeing this, the army of Ali also stopped the attack. Each group nominated their respective negotiator, and these negotiators have authority to take decisions which all parties have to abide by. Musa Shireen was the negotiator for Ali, and Amr bin Az was the negotiator for Muawiyah. Do you remember this name, Amr bin Az? We had discussed about him in the Clash of the Kingdoms series. Now Ali and Muawiyah retreated from the battle, giving authority to both these negotiators. These negotiators are called as Salsa. As soon as the negotiators were announced, 12,000 of Ali's soldiers rebelled against this decision and separated from the forces of Ali. These 12,000 are called as Kuwarji. According to them, the Salsa cannot be deciding on one way or other. They can only decide towards Allah and not towards any party. They quoted Quran texts saying that the battle should continue till the other party repents. This new group branded Ali and Muawiyah as kafirs. This Kuwarji group believed that the first three caliphs were illegal occupants to the throne, which ought to have been for Ali. They also were of the opinion that the murder of Uthman was fully legal and appropriate. At the same time, the negotiators, Salsas, decided that both Ali and Muawiyah should be removed as contenders to the post of caliph. As agreed, the Salsas came forward to announce their decision. Musa Shireen, the Salsa of Ali, first came forward and announced the removal of Ali as the contender for the post of caliph. He expected the same to be done by Amr bin Az for Muawiyah too. However, Amr bin Az turned out as the wily wolf. He came and said that as Ali has been removed as caliph by his Salsa, Musa Shireen, therefore the only remaining contender Muawiyah will become the caliph. This caused Muawiyah to declare himself as the Khalifa. The Syrians accepted this announcement. Do we think this will end here? As expected, Ali came forward for a battle to reclaim his lost title. However, as a double whammy, the Khawarij group also announced a battle against Ali, which resulted in the Battle of Naharwan in 658 AD. At the end, Ali defeated and destroyed the Khawarij group. By this time you would have realized how Islam has got nothing of spirituality. It is just a gang of power grabbers who want power. And for that power, they can kill their own. The group that took the side of Ali are called the Shias, and the ones that took the side of Muawiyah are the ones called as Sunnis. For the great work done by Amr bin Az to install Muawiyah as the Khalifa, he demanded the governor post of Egypt as reward, to which Muawiyah agreed. Remember that Muhammad bin Abu Bakr was the governor of Egypt till now. Before the rule of Uthman, it was this same Amr bin Az who was the governor of Egypt. Uthman had removed him from his position to install Abdullah bin Saud as the governor of Egypt. Since then he had this complaint and wanted his position back. Therefore, he was blessed by Muawiyah and was sent with an army to Egypt. As expected, Muhammad bin Abu Bakr too came with his army to fight Amr bin Az. However, he was overpowered and his army took a flight before the fierce army of Amr. The deserted Muhammad was caught and killed by the Syrian army. The trail of blood just gets wider and wider as we continue analyzing the way they backstab one another to grab power. We will continue the gory details of Islam in our next episodes. If you have liked this episode, please do click on the like button and subscribe if you have not yet done that already. We will meet in the next session. Till then, may the good Lord bless you and keep you.